Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to Minecraft and HellishVille. Today we're going to do some spawner theory, and we're going to look at some of our mob farms and XP farms. So, let's get started. Now, I've got something set up way over there. Yes, over here. There we go. Now what we're going to do, excuse the chickens, is we're going to pretend that this obsidian block is a mob spawner. So, first things first, we need to bring up F3. There we go. And we need to find the bottom corner of the block. So, if you look at X, and I go this way, X goes down, X goes up, X goes down. So that means that on this side, X is lowest. And if you go this way, Z goes up. If you go this way, Z goes down. So this side's the lowest. So this corner here, this corner there, is the bottom corner, and is where you need to start counting from to work out what area these mobs will spawn in. So netherrack is going to represent spawnable blocks. So you've got this corner is first, and it's an 8x8. So you start there in that bottom corner. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 that way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. Okay. Now I'm just going to put myself up a little bit so we can see. And I'll jump on top actually. So, oh, I miscounted. So yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that way, and 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. There we go. So that is the X direction of where mobs can spawn, and we do the other direction. So with the this block is in the first position, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the other side 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we go up here, this cross represents the first layer of which mobs can spawn. Now what I will quickly do is I will just bring that out there, and I'll bring that out there, so we can show you exactly the zone in which the monsters can spawn from a spawner. I'm not going to spend too much longer on this, I'm just going to go over it quickly. Bit of dirt just so I can get up there. And I'll just do this corner as well. There we go. So that's the first layer where a mob can spawn from this spawner. The next is this one and this one, because the area is 8x8x3. So if I do that and that, you start to get an idea of the zone of which these mobs can spawn in, whatever's in the spawner. So if I just quickly connect them up, we can see the whole area. So if you wanted to make an XP farm or any sort of mob farm, you need to bear in mind that this is the area of which the mobs will spawn in. Just forgive that. There we go. So I'm just going to quickly go up this here, so you can see from above. And there's the zone. It's an 8x8, and I'm just going to go across to it from the spawner there. So what if you want mobs to spawn on a platform? Well, that's quite easy. What you need to do, so I'm just going to break out of here. What you need to do is just build a platform beneath this spawning area. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And sand's going to be our spawning pad. Get rid of that dirt block, it's in the way. There we go. So I'm just going to take the inside of this out as well. There we go. And all of this sand, on top of this sand, is where monsters from this spawner can spawn. All of the sand. There we go. So if you want to, I'll just take away this netherrack. There we go. And we have our spawning pad with a spawner on it. And this is all you need, because outside of that area they will not spawn. So you don't need it any bigger. And if you make it any smaller, you may reduce the chance of the rate at which they spawn. And it was this corner here, this bottom corner, that was the lowest values when we looked at the X and Y values on the F3 information. So it is that corner which is the middle of this square. So there you go. That's how to do the spawning pad. So we'll come back to that in a second. Now I'm going to show you how I implemented that in the XP farm. And then I'll tell you why I don't use it anymore. So I'm just going the wrong way because we moved the nether portal, didn't we? Nether portal's over here. Now what I did is I did a lot of exploring, and I dug around, and I ended up in an abandoned mine shaft. And in my opinion, they're one of the best things to find. In an abandoned mine shaft, you will regularly find cave spider spawners. And cave spiders are a mob that fits in a 1x1x1 block size, so they're quite easy to move around and manipulate. Here we go. So we've been here a few times before, and you may have seen this before. But this is what it is. It's a cave spider spawner, and that spider spawner is in an 8x8 room, and all of that area is legal spawning area, and I've got water to bring them down. I don't know if you'll see any drop or spawn in a second, but hopefully you will. And if you're really lucky, you will get 2 spawners in close proximity. And if you there we go, we had a spider spawn. Now I'm not going to tell you exactly how to build these. There are many tutorials on these sorts of things already on YouTube, so I'm not going to go over it again, but this is what I built. I found 2 quite close to each other, and the simple mechanic is you use water to flow them into a pipe. The pipe, you bring them into an area which is blocked off. You can open that area. They will come in, rise up to try and get you, and get stuck under either a fence post or iron bars. You can then close that area off so they can't escape, and then you can switch on the crusher, and this is a timed circuit that crushes them until an inch of their life, and you can just bash them on the head and kill them, and you get all the XP. Now it's important that they don't get completely killed, and I'm just going to break through the back of the portal here. Is this where it is? Yeah, here we go. So this is the redstone circuitry for those buttons. One of them is just a simple on and off. It toggles the other part. And this is is it an RS NOR latch? I think it's an RS NOR latch. I can build redstone, but I don't know many of the terms that they use for them. And this is the timer bit, so it turns powers up, comes round, times down, and then powers itself off again. I'm just going to find how I get out of here. There we go. So it was block that, and that. There we go. So that's how that works. And you know, this is quite good. And in the beginning, when you don't have a lot of tools and things to use, it's good to use. So there's a spawning pad, there's a spawning pad, and they both feed in here. And from that, I made a little workstation over here with an anvil, an enchanting table, and some books. I did have, I've got loads of books here because I found a library and a stronghold, very good source of books. And I just enchanted loads of books to get lots of enchantments. Oh, there we go. That's my XP farm. That's the XP farm I use. This particular setup seems to yield somewhere around about from level 0 to 14 in 5 minutes. There's various different ways of measuring it, but the way I measure it is I get down to level 0, give it 5 minutes of building up, and then see what level I get to. Next one I'm going to talk about is this one here. This is my general mob farm. I'm not going to go inside because this is a survival world and there are creepers in there and it will blow it to pieces. But there's plenty of tutorials about just building spawning pads. Basically the simple idea is that all around here, all the caverns and all the caves and all the abandoned mine shafts have been lit up, so everywhere's light. And up there is a room with lots of pads on it, and it's dark. So most of the monsters spawn in those pads, and there are waterways, channels, and the channels are less than 2 blocks down from the pad. So the monsters walk off the pad into the channel as they walk around up there, and then the channel feeds them down into this drop. And here I have water at the bottom that brings them to the front. And then I have water above, and mobs in water try and swim up. So they're in this water at the bottom, they try and swim up, and they end up with their head in that water up there, and they end up drowning themselves. And that's one of the best ways I find to kill them. As crushing them, you have a lot of piston movement, redstone movement. It's a bit of a pain. And it can create a lot of noise with the pistons. Lava, a very efficient way of killing, but you can lose items in it. And I haven't lit up too many of the areas around here, but I still get a moderate yield from this, and it's just enough to tide me over. So that's the main part. The only upgrade I've made to this base whilst I've been here is that I put a load of hoppers down underneath the mobs here and then bring it into this chest here. So it's an auto collection facility. Well, there's those twos. I've got one more I want to show you today and talk about, and the reason why I'm mainly just talking about them and showing them is because I've built them. They've been done. They've done and sorted. So back through our part-built nether base, and I'm going to quickly nip back to HellishVille because I'm going to go back to the theory area and we'll talk about how to farm blazes safely. Okay, so where's our spawner? Our spawner's over here. I'm going to take out this spawning pad. There we go. And we know from before that this bottom corner here is that's one at the bottom's the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we know it's that by that. Okay, now this is the same. All you got to do is go find another fortress like I did, and then you've got to find a blaze spawner in the nether fortress like I did, and then unlike most spawners, if this was a spawner and I was trying to conquer it, I'd run in, bash a torch on it and then spread torches all around it, and it won't spawn because those monsters still need the appropriate light level. However, over here that's not the case. It's because we're representing it as a blaze spawner, and blazes can spawn in much higher light levels and they'll just spawn everywhere. So what do? You get in there, you battle some blazes, and you fill up this 8x8 area with blocks like this. So instead of having a pad beneath, you fill up the blocks. Now they'll keep spawning, so you keep needing to fight them. Probably a good idea if you do it with a friend if you can. And then of course remember it's 3 high, isn't it? Like that. So what do you do next? Well, more blocks. You just keep filling it up. You fill up a bit more, you fight them a bit more, you fill it up a bit more. And this is of course if you're in survival. If you're in creative or peaceful or anything like that, then, well, what are you doing playing Minecraft? No, creative is good for doing arty big things, but for the main part we're playing survival and this is what we're doing, and you just keep filling up, fight them a bit more, and eventually you'll have it full. Once you have filled in all the blocks like I've nearly done, blazes will not be able to spawn because there'll be no legitimate block that it can spawn in. They can't spawn inside netherrack. They need an air block to spawn in. So I got around to this sort of bit. You need to cover right above the spawner, like that. And no blazes now. You cannot spawn there. Blazes can't. So what do? Well, fill a hole in the ground. That's what you do. What you do is you pick somewhere you want to build and say, oh, I want to build here. And you build yourself a nice little room. Yeah, you build yourself a nice little room. Not out of dirt, because we're not noobs. There we go. Build yourself a nice little room. And then you cover the front of this bit in glass. And when you're ready, you take out these 3 blocks. Like so. That then allows blaze to spawn here. And here only. One other point to note is that you will need a block on the top as well, like that. Stop blazes coming out the top. And if you're down here, the blazes will spawn in that area, because it's the only legal area that they can spawn in, and they will come down. And if you've got glass there, they'll come down the tube, and then you can harvest them, keep them in the bottom. That's what I did. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me destroy that, but what I am going to do is I'm going to head off into the nether, and I am going to go and find my blaze farm and show you that. Now, the spider spawner, the 2 of them together, allowed me to get up to level 14 in 5 minutes, which is okay. It's not the best spawner out there, but it's not too bad. This blaze farm, because of the way it works and because of the way that you only have a small amount of area available for blazes to spawn, only 1 or 2 blazes can spawn at once, and I think the spawn rate might be a little less for blazes, so you don't get as much, and it's actually only about 6 levels every 5 minutes if you make it as an XP farm as well. However, I don't want blazes because it's an XP farm. I want it for the blaze rods. Blaze rods are important for making brewing stands. They're also important for getting the blaze powder for doing lots of different potions. They also need a blaze powder for Eyes of Ender, which we use to make ender chests and stuff like that. And this is my safe room. This is my column behind the glass, so I'm just going to pop up here. So the spawnable area is those 3 blocks at the top. I put a blocker in here, and what they do, they spawn in that spawnable area, come down the tube, and they sit there at the bottom. What I do is I just sit around in here, maybe do some crafting in my ender chest, throw some stuff around. You could even nip out into the rest of the stronghold, no, not stronghold, nether fortress if you want to, but I don't want to do that. I do want to get back in here though. There we go. So how many we got? Probably just 1 for now, but I'm not going to stand around and wait. So what you do, you wait, little blocker there, and then this button's the same as the let's see if I can find it. Yeah, this button's the same pretty much as the other one for the spider farm. Here's your latch, here's your timer. It's a different length because blazes require a different amount of damage given to them. Press it and it should damage it just right. I'm going to put them back and eat a carrot while we're waiting for it to die. There we go. So all I have to do now is get moderately close and punch it, and there we go. Get a little bit of XP and we get a blaze rod. Now, although the blazes do give one of the most amounts of XP in the game from a monster, they don't actually have a lot of spawn rate in this sort of trap, but it's a safe and efficient way to get blaze rods. Well, there you go. There's my initial XP farm, and that's my mob farm, and that's also my blaze farm. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned is that I don't actually use my main XP farm anymore. And the reason for that is that Enderman farm that I have. And if you haven't seen the video, pop back at the video and watch the Enderman one. that Enderman one will pump out in 5 minutes. You can get from level 0 up to level 24 just from 5 minutes of waiting and then just go bashing and killing what's there. So that is actually the most efficient one I have. So I don't use my XP one anymore. I always nip into the end and go to my ender farm to do that. Well, here you can just see a bit more of my nether base as I've dug it out. There's I've hit a couple of caverns. I hit quite a lot of lava. I nearly killed myself once. But we're not going to be doing any more to this base today. We're probably an episode coming up quite soon though. But for today, the last thing I'm going to do now we're back in HellishVille is I'm just going to nip to the village centre down this path, and we're going to get rid of the ones off our board and have a look to see what we might do for next time. So let's just quickly eat a carrot. There we go. So what we got? Where is it? Netherwart farm. We started that. We haven't finished yet. Blaze farm. We've talked about that one. I only use it to get blaze rods. Wood farm, mushroom farm, cocoa farm, cactus farm, iron farm. We'll do that quite soon, I think. Mob farm. Yeah, we did that. There we go. Gold farm. That's coming up soon as well. Ice farm. Well, no, we'll not get that yet. And there we go. XP farm was on there, but I've took it off as it's been done. So now we are left with stuff that we've got to do. I hope you enjoyed me explaining those 3 farms that I made and the rough idea about the mechanics behind it. There might be some more efficient ones out there. I don't know. Get rid of that. But hopefully you got a nice idea of what I've been up to and how I created them. But until next time, I'm going to leave you with the chickens and me destroying this block. So pick of destiny, say goodbye to the netherrack. Oi. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye.